gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up. I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I know enough to know if you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
Hello and welcome to the special discussion of Jackass 4.5, the let's do another one because we had some leftover footage and do sort of a doco thing that they do for every Jackass film, but I'm going to get my thoughts out there straight away. It's pretty damn good. I had a great time. Joining me to discuss this is Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here on my own show.
Yep. That's right. And I'm the host again. I'm taking the reins. Smashing you out. Kick you out of the host seat. It's fine. And returning for more Jackass and discussions, the Popsies, Ryan Betson.
The first setup that you had for a minute there, I was like, yeah, it just sounds exactly like us. Like, oh, we just did it because we wanted to do another one. There we go.
Yep.
So we have the same exact mindset as the team over at Jackass. That's good.
We've actually recorded this several months ago as well, and we're just putting it together now.
This episode is just a bunch of other pods cut together with us reflecting upon it in interview piece to cam sort of setup.
Imagine if we'd done that actually as a meta thing where we actually just recorded a podcast when I intercut it with clips from the other podcast things. And it was like, remember that time when we were discussing the first one and was talking about it really seriously and Ash was looking at us really weird.
And then, we cover Ash and pig semen. And that's 15 gallons of pig semen.
How did they even get it?
Yeah. Oh, no wonder I couldn't wear my cool hat. You know?
Not a bad idea, but we are here now doing it this way, so that's fine. So Jackass 4.5 released on Netflix, even though the upcoming series that they're working on, which I do want to discuss at the end of this episode as well.
Wait, hang on. Ryan just gave a shock face.
You didn't know this?
No! What?
We're doing it live! We're doing it live! Alright. No, let's put a...
No, because I'll forget. I know how my brain has this really cool thing called object permanence. So I'll fucking forget you said that. And then at the back end of this show, you're like, hey, you know they're doing it. And I'll be like, what? All over again. I can't wait. It's like dementia. It's awesome. Let's go.
I look forward to it. I do actually hope that's exactly how it goes. Because, put a pin in that. So, this released on Netflix. It's about 90 minutes long. Like all the other 0.5 Jackass releases, it is both a mix of some unused stunts that could have been in a movie, some unused stunts that definitely shouldn't have been in a movie, and talking head interviewing stuff both about the stunts as they're happening, the reason stunts didn't work, plus also a big part of this is talking about the production of this movie from getting together, doing it. It's been 10 years since the last one, how that came about, picking the new cast members, the younger talent, fresh blood for the Jackass crew, and then also what they went through with COVID, shutting down production, and how they kicked back into gear for everything there. I think this is better than Jackass Forever. I think that I enjoyed watching this more. I think this it's hard to say because this has less stunts, right? Because it's got a lot more documentary sort of stuff in it. However, I quite enjoyed the documentary aspect of this more so than Forever as a whole. I enjoy getting to hear more about the fresh blood in here. I enjoy getting to sort of meet them and the way they talk about them, even though I could have used a lot more of that actually. But even having that in here when that's something we complained about, all of us, when we talked about the release of Forever, that was really cool to see in here. I think there's some actually really good stunts in here that could have been in the main movie. I think it doesn't have maybe as epic as a cool thing as the 3.5 where the Joe Knoxville's doing all those crazy bowl shots thing. However, the way this one ends, I still think is pretty good. Absolutely screwing over Dark Shark is a pretty good ending to this one as well, I would say. But yeah, overall, I thought this was really good, especially for a Netflix. These used to just be straight to DVD releases, of course, back in the day. So now it just goes straight on streaming. I think as far as concerned, I think this is a very good release. What do you make of this one, Ryan?
I really enjoyed it myself. So still interesting that it went to Netflix, not Paramount Plus, but one of those things, I guess it makes more financial sense to put it on Netflix because everyone has Netflix. Very few people have Paramount. So admittedly, I did watch this on my phone, in my bed, with my son. He was asleep, so I was just like, well, I can't leave him because he's asleep on my arm. I guess I'll just watch it on my phone. Like I really, really enjoyed it. It's similar as what you mentioned. Having it broken up by the piece to cam stuff, I really liked because we discussed this in 3, I believe, or potentially even, I think it was 3. Like, we grew up with these people and like we feel like they're people that we know. Like we know them personally in some weird way. So to have these moments where we get to hear them talk and think and not just like hurt themselves, but like get to know them a bit more, including the new friends that we have now. You know, that was really, really cool. And one of the things that we also discussed when we talked about Forever was how it really felt disjointed, and that like, hey, you know, it clearly feels like it's been filmed over 2 times. There was a break in the middle. In 4.5, you go, yeah, that totally did. And there's a reason that these scenes feel different to these scenes, because these were the test scenes. These weren't even the ones that like we filmed in the second run. This is like the ones we filmed when we were just seeing whether this would work. Turns out it totally would. So we put it in the movie. That was cool. I really enjoyed like learning those things about it. It was a really good way to sort of showcase that new talent a bit more and get to know them, because I think with having, you know, 3 seasons of a TV show, Wild Boys, Viva La Bam, etc., as well as the movies, we know the Jackass crew a lot more. And then I don't think Forever really gave us much to learn about these new people, who they are, whatever, aside from, this is Zach, he's the new fat guy, Poopies are stupid. You know, Jasper has a dad. You know, like it's just kind of hit these, like you don't get to know a lot about them, but like, it was very, very good. I enjoyed it quite a lot.
And talking about new blood, Ash, what'd you make of 4.5?
Yeah, this was good. I think I
New
agree.
to Explosion Network podcast, Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think very well done. I enjoy the documentary aspect of it, even to the extent that like maybe I'm going to go back and watch the other 0.5s and like if it's similar to this, just because I feel it gives so much more context, and like I think I enjoy that style of storytelling than rather just random things that happen. Especially when the random stuff that happened this time wasn't as impressive as maybe the random stuff that happened in the previous films. But yeah, it's interesting to see. Obviously, this production was affected by COVID and how much that played into what happened over the production, and then what stunts did and didn't work, and why they didn't work, whether it was like timing or they were off shooting something else when something else happened. But I think, yeah, it's interesting that again, you get introduced to all these new people. I will say right off the top, I don't know who Eric is. I don't remember him from the film.
Well, Eric Andre.
No, Eric.
No, Mankey, I think, right?
Manaka.
Oh, Eric Manaka. Yeah.
The British dude. Yeah.
Apparently, he's in the film. I don't remember.
Yeah,
him.
he rode his bike into the Tom and Jerry painting.
Apparently, he's in this film. I don't remember him very much in this either. So
Yeah.
But yes, I appreciate is the test footage is them sticking a bunch of hot sauce down their asses.
Yeah, it was good. It was good initiation.
And then the penis prison, that was for test footage. That wasn't even a planned thing for the movie. Like, yeah, let's just squish our penises as small as possible. You know.
See, but additionally, like those scenes make a lot more sense as tests, because like Chris Pontius was very involved in those tests, but he wasn't super involved in a lot of the stunts that made the final movie. So I'm not sure what happened between then and then, but it was good to sort of see him more involved at the start, and I'm not sure why it changed. But
So maybe there was like a family thing, timing.
But the couple things that you sort of touched upon, Ash, is like they really sort of discuss like Ehren and how he's kind of really the star of a lot of the movies, but not by choice. And the other thing that I was completely fascinated by, not a single acknowledgement of Bam.
Yeah.
Not at all. There's like less Bam in this than there is.
They even showed the end shot from 3, with the explosion and they cropped him out.
They cropped him out. Yeah.
That's fucking vicious.
The tighter shot was better.
Is it vicious, or is it them saving themselves any?
Oh yeah, because if
Problems,
he's not in it, then they don't have to pay him shit. Yeah, but it's just like it feels like brutal.
Mm. It does. I mean, we've been over the BAM thing before, and like I'm still like that's totally his. He's in the
He's in the wrong.
the
Yes,
house.
it's his fault.
He's in the house he built or whatever
Yeah.
the saying is. You know. Yeah, there's a lot of. I would say like yes, if you enjoyed this stuff, then this is how all the.
No,
2.5, 3.5.
I
this is
remember.
how they
I remember
align, yeah.
1.5 or whatever just being leftover stunts. I don't
Yeah,
remember there being
1.5
documentary.
No, 1.5 is just stunts. More stunts. It's like a bunch of deleted scenes. But 2.5 and 3.5 are like this. Yeah, where they're like mini docos, more or less.
But-
behind the scenes stuff.
From memory now, I did watch Jackass Forever again semi recently. I think there are stunts that are in the credits of Forever that didn't make this one either.
No, so there's still more.
There's more somewhere.
The deleted scenes on the Blu-ray or something. I don't know.
4.75
But that's the same.
Paramount Plus
yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Four and a bit more.
Yeah.
4 and a bit more.
4 and a bit more. What was so Ryan? What stunts in this? What stood out to you as like that was really fucking great, or even like that was horrible. There's a reason that didn't make the cut.
Now look,
Or do you think everything was like, nah, it all deserved to be?
it did feel it felt beatier, but I still enjoyed everything as it was. Like for me, I'm remembering distinctly more of the interviews than I'm remembering the stunts. So hopefully you do have a list in front of you because I'll be really grateful. If
Couldn't
you did.
find one.
We'll find one. Sick. Cool.
Couldn't find one.
Because like all I really remember in terms, because like admittedly I watched a couple of nights ago, and today has been a hot mess, and I've been phasing what feels like phasing in and out of dimensions all day. It's been a real weirdy, so my memory's all kinds of shot. But like all I remember is just seeing a lot of dick.
Yeah, to the point they actually can't say that this movie has the most, or this or Forever had the most amount of dick of any R-rated movie. So they said.
And I genuinely appreciate that. Because, like, Pontius brings up a good point. He's like, we've seen, like, dicks, we don't get enough dick in movies. And we don't. Like, if we look at all of the raunchy comedies of, like, the 80s and then the resurgence in the early 2000s, just boobs everywhere. Boobs and ladies' front areas everywhere. Not enough dick. I think now we're in the decade of dick.
I like how he explains it too. He's like, when you're a little kid,
Dick's funny.
the dick's the funniest thing ever. And then you go, oh, and you forget what it's like. We need to bring that back.
Yeah.
Such a specific thing. I'll tell you the one stunt that I felt like was the worst, talking about dick. Like, the most like, oh, that's horrible to watch. And that was the dropping the brick tied around the dick part. Especially when Dave England points out that he only has one ball that nearly ripped his cock off. So... and he's like, I probably shouldn't have done this in retrospect.
Yeah,
Like,
watching that woman like pelt Ehren McGhehey's ball bag with a bowling ball.
a bowling ball as well.
Tremendous.
Yeah. Somehow just caused him to bleed, like from pure pressure or something.
Well, I
like
think it's the cup pushed itself
cup pushing
back.
in. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Not enough padding around the edges.
Not enough padding. Yeah.
Like because a metal cup too, it's probably lacerated around his front area.
It's funny though, because that means they literally were like, for time or because this is too much, we chose to cut that. But I'm like, there's no reason, like the pogo stick is what seems way worse to me than that. Because the pogo stick's just like straight crush, like there's no give. There's just, you're on top.
But yeah, watching the focus on that woman's face as she like goes for the ball, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, and I've never watched like professional bowling anyway, but like, yeah, she fucking nailed it. She's like, I'm gonna hit him. And then the 3 shots she did or whatever, everyone on the money.
I gotta admit, every single person they get that's a professional like sports player,
Legit.
they are always into it too.
Yeah.
No one's ever questioning like, oh my god, did I
They
hurt
get
him?
some sort of joy from.
Yeah, they're really into it. Like the softball player, the picture of her.
It's like
everyone,
finally
they
I can
just-
hurt somebody.
Yeah. The girl on the horse in this one who like jumps
Oh,
over and
yes.
slaps what's his face with the thing,
The
like
whip.
as going over the whip. Yeah, she's like just laughing her ass off about it too. No one ever feels bad for them. And I'm wondering if that's just because everyone knows, like, oh, these are the Jackass guys. I feel like I don't remember if people used to feel worse back in the day. I thought so. A stunt that's in this that we saw from the trailer that I quite enjoyed. That simple cartoon humor from Johnny Knoxville, dressed up as Bad Grandpa, was the woman looking after him. Woman goes to get coffees. Suddenly, the old man's on top of the bus depot thing, shelter. The setup is she gets told not to let him smoke. He starts smoking. His hand catches on fire. Like, it's typical Johnny Knoxville. Like, we've gone over before. Obviously, has this love for, you know, Tom and Jerry, all those sorts of cartoons, and he loves doing those sorts of pranks. And that's what that was. I thought it was great. The fact that like, he bangs his head on the pole as he's like going past, then ends it with being like, I haven't been able to walk for 10 years. Something like that. Like, I actually thought that was so much funnier compared to what made it into Forever, which was like another similar Johnny Knoxville thing, which was the not as the old man, but the power line thing. I was like, that's funnier. This old man, the Bad Grandpa skit's a lot funnier.
See, I love it because it reminds me of like an old Little Britain skit.
Yeah. Was it
like I'm in a tree? He's in a tree, and it's what happened? I fell down, and he's I fell down. Yeah. Like that's exact. Like this has that right level of absurdity where you walk and you go, huh?
Yeah.
Like if you're in that, like you're like, how the fuck did like if you're not thinking about it the right way, you know, awesome.
I think they didn't get the reaction they wanted out of her, and that's why it didn't get the cut,
not
make
loud
the cut.
enough. I don't know, Herbert. Like you could tell,
she just seemed like very unexpressive. You know,
you could tell she was panicked though, and at the end she's like, "You're gonna make me have a heart attack." Oh no, I thought it was enough for me. Like maybe American humor, American audience, you need that like louder, more like yelly reaction to, and that's sort of that
YouTuber response, you know.
Yeah, the YouTuber response is a good way of putting it. But for me, I was like, oh no, this woman seems like obviously freaked out. It's funny to me.
Yeah, I'm glad the other one didn't make the cut though.
Which one?
The
like dancing, the nudists and
the fire alarm. That was.
Yeah, it was. Oh, the funniest bit was the credits use of that, where the dude's like, "This reminds me of something of Jackass or whatever," and then Johnny Knoxville's like, "Those guys, do they even exist anymore?" or something like that. Which I thought that was a good bit. I thought
because I've just pulled up Netflix, so I was going to skim it to remember all the bits. The preview for it is the woman with the tennis player. Her accuracy to hit somehow all of them in the groin, and then to hit like Preston directly in his other bruise. That woman may be the best tennis player in the world.
That's right.
You know, poor
and they're like, oh, how hard do you hit?
Andre, yeah,
about 100 miles per hour. Like, I'm sorry, what?
Shout out to Eric Andre for at least showing up, you know?
Yeah.
I enjoyed him being in the interview segments here too, and like talking about his first day on set, and then how he's like, I'm just going to take a piss or whatever, and then straight away walks into that toilet and it fucking explodes. And like the fact that in the documentary he's like, I prank people for a living. How can I be so dumb? Like, like I just like how he's like absolutely fooled. So
yeah,
I don't think because
like explaining why that's not in the film, like because they're shooting another sketch, like across the valley.
Yeah. And always something's happening. And then, like, the fact that they're shooting, I think, we're talking about, like, just seeing more of them not being on, is, like, some of the funniest things that made me laugh was, for instance, just Wee Man trying to introduce that skit.
Key
where
skit.
the electric eel skit with the key up the arse, which is, like, it's a funny gag. Like, it's not super funny. Like, it's sort of amusing that it works, to be honest.
It's impressive,
Yeah, it's impressive. Like, they are true scientists. The fact they make that electricity travel up the eel up Dane Jaren's ass through the key. But yeah, listening to Wee Man get that intro wrong.
But however, like there as he's also standing in the water, it's very likely the shock is just from him being in the water, not
it's
from
true.
the key. So that's
a good point.
Just
ruin the magic trick.
It's cool. It's not quite cool as lighting a fart in Forever. I'm sorry.
No, that's true. Yeah,
that was scientifically better. They had a fucking Mythbuster.
That's probably why that part ended up in the movie and not this part. But yeah, the most impressive part of this was just getting to hear Wee Man fuck up that intro so many times, and just generally getting to see the cast just laugh and like be normal, not be on or like in their hosting mode, and and stuff like that I quite enjoyed. And then I definitely got to bring up the ending or just Dark Shark in general. That part where they're doing the bird skit and Steve-O gets his eyebrows pulled off. That's funny. That's like
That was awesome. That was so good.
that's like
My question
that's like
is, do we need to go back and watch Forever now and see if we can figure out what sketches he's filmed without his eyebrows?
Anytime
You can tell,
he wore a
it's-
bandana.
Yep. Anytime he wears a bandana, he doesn't have eyebrows anymore. That's the dead giveaway. Now that we've watched this, that is the dead giveaway. But like that was a funny thing. But that's like funny. That's like something Steve-O would just do for his YouTube channel, probably any day of the week, to be honest. But yeah, having Dark Shark in the corner, just getting scared every time the bird, like eagle, just flapped its wings, just be like, oh fucking, and all that. I was like, fucking hell.
Well, seeing him react to the bear.
Yeah, seeing him react to the bear as well. Man, they really fucked with Dark Shark a lot more. The fact that he's like hiding in the corner and Joe Knoxville's like, they're not real trees, Dark Shark. You can't actually climb them or whatever.
But it was
quite funny.
It was interesting. They touched upon a couple of things in this movie that relate to Dark Shark, and the idea that, you know, when they're on set, like, it sucks. Like, it seems fun, but it is literal PTSD almost all the time. Because, like, you know, Dave England talks about in that dark room and how he was, like, genuinely, like, the most scared he's ever been in his life.
Scared he's ever been.
And then you get Dark Shark, who's like, yeah, I'm scared of, like, heights. They go, cool, we're going to pretend a plane's fucked and we're going to throw you out of it. Like, as someone that also has a fear of heights, like, I think the reason they didn't put it in the final movie is because you literally see a man...
Please, God, forgive me.
Being ready to die. Like, that's fucking a lot. You know, like, if you're in a dark cinema and you're watching a man, like, realize, like, come to terms with his death at that moment, like, that's a lot. It's not very funny. It's kind of just fucking confronting.
But this is like conversation we've had before, like, and it starts with, like, Bam and the snake scene and Jackass number 2 and stuff, and being like, is that mean? So then we come back to it again with this. It's like, is it mean to be playing off Dark Shark's fear of...
But he also chose to walk into the plane.
He also chose to walk into the plane. He also chose to be part of the film. I feel like the big difference I'll make between this, the BAM thing, the like whatever, like anything in this compared to stuff we've compared it to before, which is the YouTubers, like pretending they're killing their sons in front of their wives and stuff like that. They haven't signed a contract. They're not getting paid to be part of a movie. They're not aware they're being shot or in something. Like, they're just being, they're just mean pranks. Everyone, anytime something in this feels mean, at the end of the day, it is by people who have chosen to participate.
Yeah.
Like, the only time it's random is like that woman on the street. You know, she would have got paid and signed a waiver to appear in it after getting pranked, thinking she nearly killed this old man. And like, none of the stuff they ever do to randoms ever feels as bad as what they do to themselves. And they know that sort of, everyone knows when they're on set, fucking beware. Like, that's why I like that point. Even when they're doing the interviews and they're like talking about it and they cut to that shot of Wee Man just being like,
but yeah, so like I agree with you. Like, in the way that, yes, Dark Shark, for him, this is the most horrifying thing in the world, but he wasn't like cuffed and put a bag on his head and put on a plane. He still made the conscious choice to go onto that plane, and he did it. He genuinely faced a fear, and it was very confronting. But it's just like, yeah, as you said, like he got on the plane. You know, not in like a, well, that absconds me from feeling bad. But it's just like, okay, cool.
And he would have got paid for this movie too.
Yeah.
He would have got paid for this movie too.
He would have got paid something fierce.
Yeah. He was in this movie. He was on set. You know, like, he was on set for a lot of this stuff. He would have been getting paid because legally he needs to be getting paid.
And I think he was more involved in the film than Jasper was. Really.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Because Dark Shark was cool.
He would have been. Yeah. He actually was. So
yeah, he was awesome.
I think that helped as well. Like, having the like Forever, and then coming to this, you know Dark Shark a lot more, and you've obviously seen media and interviews and that kind of stuff. So it's not as confronting it's not as mean, I guess, with all this history before it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's a very long bit. So,
But then also that when they're I love it's. I think I mentioned this in when we did 3. I really love just the bullshit costumes and shit they put together. So like my brain keeps going back to the bit where they're on safari, quote unquote, with Zach, Wee Man, and Preston dressed as elephants, and they build the most elaborate fucking spud gun you've ever seen in your life. And it looks like a giant rifle, and they're all in like khakis. They look like the bad guy in Jumanji, and they are just like blasting tennis balls at each other, and it's awesome. And then they just beat the piss out of Tremaine with one as well. Like it's, I don't know. Like for me, that is the newer Jackass, right? Like where it's you've got money, we have a stupid idea, let's put it together. And like to me, like that is the extension of that cartoonness we talked about with from like 3, like the Tom and Jerry stuff, right? You know, just the idea of like going to the costume department or going to Paramount and being like, "Hi, we need a budget for a giant spud gun that looks like a rifle, 3 khaki outfits, and grey paint and elephant ears, please." Like, there's an invoice somewhere that requested all those items, and I love that idea. In the same way that when you find out the Forever is like the like X amount of pounds of soiled underpants were used, and it's just like there's an invoice somewhere for an unnecessary amount of Y fronts. I love it.
It's true.
That shit I love.
it's all tax
I like that.
deductible. So,
I like that bit too, just that they're muttering and being like, "Oh, two quid for the one in the front if you hit him. 2 quid, sir. I could do you better than that." Like, bang. Like, just all this fucking backwards. And
All this
forwards.
that
bullshit.
bruise.
Was there a stunt
brutal.
that jumped out to you, Ash? Or a moment in the movie, I should say?
There's one stunt that I'm very glad was not in the movie, in Jackass Forever, in the cinema, and that's the sashimi. Sashimi. Yeah.
Did you fast forward it?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. It's,
I'm glad that I could, like, take my headphones off, you know, not hear the
That thing?
Yeah, that sound.
It's interesting you say that because the one scene that made me uncomfortable in like all the Jackass I've ever watched was the sweatsuit cocktail. I don't know why. Yeah. And like of all the stunts I've seen, and like there's only one other scene that made me genuinely queasy, and it was from the Dudesons. And it was where for some reason the other guy just licked the underside of the other dude's shoe. And for some reason that is the grossest shit I've ever could have thought of. And I was like really uncomfortable. And the same goes for the sweatsuit cocktail and also this. And then the fact that like there's fish that was there for like 2 days later. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like that's not funny. That's means
unhealthy.
That either means A, you're too large to correctly wash yourself. That's not funny. That's a point of concern. Dude, not a funny bit. Just gross.
I mean, he's bigger than Preston ever was, I think.
Yeah,
like,
Preston's lost weight, but he's way bigger than Preston ever was. He's like what 400 pounds.
I think he's
like
bigger than...
saying that though, then when they did like the fucking the long jump, tremendous, absolutely brilliant. Like Dave England had the right idea. Dave England had the right idea for being like the far end because they were never going to jump that far.
That's true. Anyone in the third or fourth slot was just fucked from that.
Yeah.
I think that I was thinking like I don't know if I ever said the grossest thing out of anything like, so the grossest thing I ever seen was from Dirty Sanchez, like out of this spectrum of things done. That's where they got like liposuction.
Oh, yeah. Even for me, that wasn't as gross as like licking a shoe or drinking someone's sweat. I don't know why.
Yeah. So for anyone who's never watched Dirty Sanchez, and if you struggle with gross shit, I wouldn't because I actually think those guys go way too far.
Yeah,
like,
I was actually having a discussion with a friend of mine about the scale of the shows in terms of like what you like. You know, you've got the next level gross stuff, which was the Dirty Sanchez, and then you've got the far like friendly, just fuck assing around with the Dudesons, right? Like they have a very different energy. That just feels very childlike and charming. Where Jackass sits in that weird middle ground. Where like they do some shit that's kind of intense, like just pooping and fucking things and whatever, and then they've also got the same level of stupid stuff like just super gluing things to each other. Yeah, like if that's the spectrum of stunt based theater, sure. Yeah, it's interesting just to see that full.
It's funny though, because Steve-O, like at the time he was doing Jackass, he was doing like way worse stuff on his own DVDs and live shows where he was like doing the butterfly and like stapling his balls to his legs and on stage and.
Yeah, actually, I recently watched his stand-up special they did before Forever called Gnarly, and there was a couple of moments where I went, I cannot watch you do that.
Is that the one that I said I watched last year?
The Jackass
guys. Yeah, and he brings them out one by one.
Yeah, and the bit the bit that I'm talking about is the one with his dad. That was fucked up. Yep. That was actually fucked up.
That was actually gross. Yeah.
Are you aware of this bit, Ash?
Yeah, I remember Dylan talking about it.
I was like,
Yeah. I'd still rather watch that than do Sancho's thing, which is they got one of them got liposuction, got like a bunch of fat, like obviously out
without anesthetic.
Without anesthesia, so he just gets like liposuction done, and then I can't remember if it's him or one of the others, but they drink it.
Like in basketball.
Yeah, but yeah. Turns out it looks nothing like what was in that bag in basketball.
Oh, okay.
No, that grossed the fuck out of me. And in general, that movie goes quite far sometimes too, like getting a tattoo on your dick and.
Did you ever watch the series? I know we're completely derailing, but
no, that's fine. I mean, that's this show. I feel we're just anything Jackass related and
yeah, because I'm not sure. I started rewatching Viva La Bam for no reason, and still good.
Still holds up.
Yeah, still good.
Just funny, like you see, like half the people on there don't hang around Bam anymore. Bam isn't in Jackass. And
yeah, and it's I went back and watched it. And I'm like, because of the whole idea of turning the house into a skate park. I'm like, that's kind of great. It's like it's just a simple bit, and then like just mess with Phil all day. Like let's put burgers on all his clothes. Like that is like the safest, like annoying but safe stunts. Like let's replace his toothpaste with meat. Like that stuff is fun. Because no one's actively getting hurt.
No, I don't think there was anything in Viva La Bam that was like super bad. Plus, it was also on at like 7 o'clock on MTV, so it had to be like PG. I don't think there's any swearing in it. They bleep it, right?
Yeah, it's all cuss.
Yeah, so it's all like pretty tame. It's just all like silly childlike pranks for the most part.
But if anyone's curious, actually, about just sort of getting a better understanding of like Viva La Bam or that circumstance with Bam. So there's a great interview that Chris Rabb did with Steve-O for his Bathroom Break podcast. Yeah. He talks about how like literally in the final shot of Viva La Bam, he's like, hey, it's like this is the final shot ever. Yep. No reshoots. Nah, this is it. Cool. He literally walks over, turns on his car, walks back, does the shot, gets in his car, leaves, and never speaks to any of them again for like years.
Yeah, and he was the one who had it the worst.
And then Novak came in and took it worse again. Yeah, he talks all about that. Fascinating, by the way, if anyone's curious. Absolutely fascinating interview. It does kind of feel like a complete shoot, like no holds barred sort of chat about like why it was kind of not awesome.
And that's another thing I kind of like about Forever is that I don't actually think there's any BS. Like, Bam's not there, but when like they're saying it's really great to be like with old friends and new friends, I think they like it's legit. Like whoever's there at the moment, I do believe like there's no bullshit there. I think that the fact that they're doing this movie when they didn't even need to, like Steve-O, Knoxville. Like, there's no way Steve-O and... Well, Steve-O and Pontius are fucking peas in the pot. So, like...
But yeah, like, no, you were right. Like, there's, no animosity, as you said, Ash. And, like, there's no mean-spiritedness here. Everyone here is kind of happy to be there. They're excited to see each other. And, as you said, with, like, Steve-O and Pontius, like, they have that moment. They're like, I forgot how good it was to be around my friend.
Because that's literally all Wild Boys is for like 3 seasons. Yeah. I'm not sure if they were ever aware they were filming a show because I'm pretty sure it's just those two just hanging out, fucking around, making jokes. Yeah. Like, and then they like eventually Tremaine's like, can you like get bitten by a turtle or whatever? And they're like, oh, fuck yeah, we're filming a show. Like,
can you hold this? Yeah. Can you hold this snake? Oh, yeah, sure. So,
I'm sure. Because like Wild Boys in my memory is just lots of them. Like, and you see it in Forever with the intro bit they do, the skeleton, like the what is it? The chicken turkey thing, whatever. Anyway, like all that's literally just Wild Boys. Those ridiculous intros the two of them would do, where I'm like, you are just fucking around, like having a good time here. So, all right, this was a good movie. We've had some time.
Right, just shout out
there's-
to last things. I really
go for
appreciate the like deep dive on the opening sequence.
Yes.
How they put that together.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I love the conversation.
And how
the
they talk
budget
about
just kept
we
getting
got like
fucked-
this really important, really expert.
They're like, we got this
puppeteer.
director of this, photographer of this, puppeteer. Yeah.
Yeah, freaking, and
That was
it's just,
awesome.
it just grew and grew and grew. And
So
then I
this
love the
person did
blindfold
miniatures
press.
for fucking like Star Wars or whatever. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and then the blindfold dress, fantastic.
Oh, the blindfold race.
Oh my god. I totally forgot
good.
about that.
The fact that Poopies at the end, I think that's what makes it so good. The fact he just like completely like ass over head, like kills himself so many times, and then right at the end he's like, because none of that was there before, and then everyone just was like, yeah.
See, the only thing that would have made that better, because they had the small tool shed set up with the door open to the way. I was hoping someone would run in and get fucking stuck in
run
it.
through.
Like, no,
No,
they would
I
just
hope
run
someone,
and
like,
get
run
stuck
through
in the
and
tool
burst.
shed and couldn't work out how to get out of it. Like, that would have been dope. Instead, someone just kind of slams into the side of it. But, like, that would have been, like, next level. So good. But I completely forgot about the blind race. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah.
That was
And
quite good.
The last thing we can be grateful for is that Steve-O was not selling condoms.
Yeah, oh my god.
That's true.
Yeah,
Lot of babies would have
100%.
gone out there. He does sell hot sauce though. That's something you can buy off his website.
Yeah, it's hot sauce for your butthole, yeah.
Yeah, hot sauce free butthole. That's a real thing. He's still making. So, yes, Jackass future plans. We talked last time we recorded Jackass Forever. We were last time we did Jackass Forever was like, hey, I wonder what they'll do in the future. I wonder if this could mean a TV show could be coming or something like that. Ryan, if you didn't know, and you didn't know, recently Paramount has said they are in early like sort of planning phases basically of putting together a new Jackass series that will be coming to Paramount Plus.
Oh.
They haven't said like if it'll include just the new people, if it'll include the old people, like we don't know what the go is. We don't know what their plans are. They are like in the pre-planning phase of that. And look, it could all fall apart and never happen. However, it is something that they are like at least talking about. So we're a lot further now than we are last time we talked about it, where it's like, is that a thing that could happen? As of now, it's something that Paramount has said, yes, that is something we want to do. They haven't signed any names, they haven't announced any names, something like that. But what would you want that to be? And do you think that's a good idea for a streaming service like Paramount to have a Jackass TV show? Do you think would that make you subscribe? I would say yes. Right?
The answer is yes.
Yeah,
Because while we were chatting, like I pulled up, like the information about 4.5. So apparently it's Netflix exclusive, Netflix just for a time, and then it goes over to Paramount Plus forever. So
I presume they may have paid, like made a deal at some point, and they're just honoring it. So
there's a couple of different things about this series. Do I want to see it? Yes. Like my concerns is it going to feel like that final season of Scrubs, where it's a mix of new and old and nothing really good comes out of it? You're like, oh, okay, cool. Which we know forever it shouldn't be the case. Or is it going to feel like Top Gun Australia, where it's none of the people you've seen before, it's bastardized version of what you thought before, and just none of it's any good. I have a greater faith in sort of Dick House and the Jackass team to deliver something good. I do wonder how it will work in a episodic setup, in that the only reason the Jackass movies work is because of their budgetary allowance. Where when you have YouTube, or you can just go to Fail Army and see everything that Jackass would have done previously in their episodic TV for free, and it's just a bunch of randos, they would need to do some next level shit on each episode to make it worth viewing. And then would that have diminishing returns if every episode is just next level crazy?
What do you reckon, Ash, as a newer Jackass?
Yeah,
super
hopefully
fan?
not. Even though I'm a fan, I'm super cynical about it. Where are you at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could work, you know. I suspect the older cast would be involved. Not necessarily taking the hits, but like Pontius was doing a lot in this one, where he was just setting up a lot of the stunts. Knoxville was setting up a lot of the stunts. But yeah, I think, you know, if they can do lots of different shenanigans, I'm sure being amongst crowds again would help with some of the like crazier, more public stuff they like to do, especially with a new cast. Yeah, I think, you know, I it's weird. I have a feeling like the run that they had with Sami Zayn on WWE, like,
oh yeah,
that kind of helped. Like, yeah, they sustained like weekly television.
Have we talked? Did we talk about that?
No, I don't.
I guess we didn't because it was after.
We have to talk about that. Holy shit!
Yeah, what was your thoughts on the WrestleMania
It was
match?
goddamn amazing. Like, we're all wrestling fans, and we like it's on the record that like we all like wrestling for different reasons. Like I know you, Dylan, and you, Ash, and like we all love AEW. Like I'm sitting here looking at my fucking scale ring full of my action figures for AEW, right? And like, so I love wrestling when it's taken a lot more serious and it's like, you know, delivered in such a way. But I'm also very aware that wrestling is fucking stupid. So I love when they lean into the absolute stupidity that wrestling can deliver. That only wrestling can deliver. And that includes having Wee Man fucking hard body slam Sami Zayn. That includes a giant mousetrap that doesn't quite go off, but Sami Zayn sells it like a champion. Like a literal machine that just kicks you in the dick. Like all these little spots that only wrestling can deliver. And to me, that may have almost stolen the show on night 2 of WrestleMania this year. Because I went into WrestleMania with like very limited give a shit, because I haven't watched the WWE in months. And like I watched fucking Royal Rumble and it was disappointing. And I was like, I had nothing but like low expectations. And then like, you know, Cody came out and like, that was fucking cool. And the whole Stone Cold shit was awesome. Like, all right, cool. And then Jack, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I kind of wish it ended with Johnny with the IC title. Thought that would have been dope. And he just vacates it on SmackDown the next week. That would have been even better. He's like, I don't fucking want this. You know, it's just like, I hope they do another run. And I don't think they will, but like, it was good. I absolutely like. Now I know Ash. I know you didn't enjoy it because I don't remember what pod it was on, but I remember you saying.
No,
something
I enjoyed it. I liked it.
No, Dylan didn't like it.
Dylan didn't like it because it's not real wrestling. You know, he doesn't care about that comedy stuff.
I say it's a terrible wrestling match, but a great piece of entertainment.
Oh, it's sports entertainment to the max. Yeah.
I'm saying I didn't enjoy it. I'm just saying it's not a good wrestling match. Like, but it was good entertainment.
Yes.
And I think the way people tweeted about it, the way people tweeted about it and reacted to it, Joe Knoxville, Jackass, they are still quite popular. And the movie did very well. And I think to like go for the whole, could they retain an audience week by week? I think as long as the OG cast are there as the pull-in points, I think that this movie plus the WWE thing has proven that even though maybe to themselves, like Tremaine and Spike Jonze, everyone, but also to executives, that even though a lot of this stuff you can find online now, and that was probably the main counterpoint, like you can just watch people do stupid shit online for free. I think the counterpoint is, but people really love these guys.
Yeah, it's them as people, not as just the stuff.
It's them, not actually what they're doing. So that's the main draw. And I think the WWE and the movie proved that.
And additionally, like if they're able to get Bam in the right direction, and then they're like, hey, we're having him in the season finale of Paramount of the series, of like, that is how you get numbers. Like maybe they bring in Ray,
a bunch of
bring in
snakes.
Crab.
If Bam got his shit together and he was on that show, that it would do huge. Because Bam is still has a huge fan base. So
I'm 32. I was at Kmart with my kid, and he was looking at Transformers. I was like, oh, fucking tech decks, they're still a thing. I almost bought a set just because it had a BAM deck in it. So if you tell me that there's a show, then he's in it, I'm going to watch it. I didn't see it happening, but it'd be cool.
No, I don't see it happening either. Currently, but you never know. You can only hope. I hope they could all make up and be friends together. There's no reason they can't eventually. I mean, that's life. People fight, make up. I don't know. I think the show has a lot of potential. I think streaming service is a great place for it because you don't have to worry about restrictions potentially. Like money, maybe, yes. You don't have to worry about a rating restriction, however, like they did when they were on MTV. So the stunts they want to do are really only dictated by money and pacing of not wanting to sort of blow their load in the first or second episode. You know what I mean? Like just the general pacing of a season. I think the way to do it is to meet somewhere between Jackass Forever and 4.5. And by that, I mean not just the doco style stuff, but more actual people being people talking, getting to know them. Yep. And I think you have the main cast be integral for the first season, second season, whatever. Like hopefully they do well and they of course they like any show, they would want to get several seasons out of it. And the idea being that you use them to put over the new cast.
Yes.
Well enough that they could do more and more and more in seasons ahead. However, at launch, at season 1, probably even the season 2 and stuff, you would still need the main guys to be a heavily featured part of it with the hopes that eventually Knoxville can do way less, maybe even like 1 or 2 episodes a season. But I would say from the get-go, they definitely would need everyone on board. They need Knoxville in every episode. They need Steve-O in every episode.
Yeah, what I would like to see out of the series is more from Rachel. Like, because like even her stunt, like, because like she was clearly brought on because she's a stand-up and she's a funny woman.
Because she's funny.
Yeah.
But like she wasn't brought in for stunts.
No,
like,
she was there to be a presenter.
Yeah, in the same way that Zach was brought in because there was that clip from X amount of years ago of him getting yeeted into fucking cactuses with Steve-O. Like that was.
Side note, that the footage of him with the kamikaze vest thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts, isn't it? The firecracker. Oh. And like Poopies was a friend of somebody else, and like it's. I like how there's this connection, but like,
and I mean,
if they're going to bring it, I would love to see more women in it because like I know some women that would go fucking hard. Like personally, I'm not going to like go tell them to audition or anything, but I mean like I would love to see that.
I mean, Rachel being brought in a presenter isn't even like she's a girl presenter sort of thing. It's no different than Pontius was originally sort of brought in for a similar role.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like he wasn't brought in as a stunt guy. He was brought in as like a funny guy to sort of be there and hang around. And he started doing the party boy stuff, and that was sort of his main thing was party boy. And then by the time you get to Wild Boys, he's doing more stunts, and then the movies he ends up doing more. But he was just hired as a funny dude.
Well, it's like Preston was originally brought on just because he had a truck.
Yeah. Literally. So no one was ever hired because they were like
stunt people,
major stunt people. But like
crew,
yeah, apart from BAM, CKY crew, Knoxville had to be there as lead man and stunt. And Steve-O was hired as a stunt guy, obviously, but the rest of them was sort of just hired for random ass reasons. So I think like for who's here, Rachel being hired as a funny person, that's fine because she's funny. But she's proven in the movie, like with the handful of stuff she does do, like she's happy, more than happy.
Oh yeah.
She took that sashimi down like a trooper.
Oh
yeah, the fact she just does that without even like gagging, I'm like, yep, you're in. Like, you're in.
But yeah, no, I agree with you completely. But I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't mind seeing like someone that can come in and match them.
Yeah.
Like that's mad.
I'll tell you what I don't want it to be. Yep. I don't want to be so you think you can be in Jackass. Just trying out a bunch of people. That's what I don't
bad.
Steve-O did a TV show years ago called, I think it was Dr. Steve-O. He used to have like random people do stunts, or like they would tell him his fears and he would like make them do a stunt to get over their fear and stuff like that, which was similar to what you're sort of saying, I guess. And no, it only lasted like 1 season. And you probably can't find it anywhere. And in fact, this reference is probably for like 3 people in the world who Ryan's one of them. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm pretty sure I've seen that. I can actually.
it was very obscure show.
Like that, and Ryan Dunn's like Home Wrecker and stuff like that.
I have the DVDs of that as well. I don't know how, but I do. There's probably 2 copies in the world. Yeah, random ass shit I own. If I can tell you what. I'm looking forward to it, and I definitely feel it could be like in a world where Paramount wants to build a good catalog to entice people to come in. Halo's done really well for them.
SpongeBob's always good.
That draws in
SpongeBob's always good.
SpongeBob's always going to draw in for the thing. And I think like and Jackass too, I definitely feel like there's a good range of content there. And Jackass is also a show that if it does well, it's not something you could do like 2 seasons a year. Like if you wanted to, you could shoot enough to get 2 seasons out of it and stretch it over, like drop it 2 times a year. And without it costing a bunch, but helping maintain like a healthy subscription. I definitely feel like it's a good sort of show to have in the back pocket for a streaming service. Just look at normal TV, right? Why do they make so many reality TV shows and stuff like that? Because that shit's cheap and it does well. So something like Jackass is a really good show to have, I think, in the back pocket.
So does that mean that we'll come back when the series starts?
I mean, if they announce a series, I'm fucking definitely, I'll be messaging in, being like, hey, it starts. Are we doing weekly recaps? Or like, what are we doing? Like, you know, look, if they announce a date, and I'll be like, I'll even probably message you like, the show starts in like 4 months. Are we going to do like, do you want to rewatch the whole series? Or like, what are we doing? Like,
this is for Jackass again. You know, it's like, look, you guys have, I'm going to book in now. We've got Clerks 3 soon. We'll have this, Paramount Jackass series. I'm laying it down. What else am I into that you guys haven't covered yet?
It is not hard to convince. Like around these parts, it's not hard to convince to do any sort of podcast, especially when it's hey, like I really want to watch that, but like fuck, I should. If I turn it into content,
like right now, I'm rewatching that 70s show. I'm like, because they announced that 90s show. I'm like, ooh,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
okay. It's not like it's not good like review TV show, but it's fun. No excuse to watch it.
There's an audience for everything, you know what I mean? There's no audience for someone out there is like the biggest fan of something, so it's fair.
And that is why the Explosion Network are here to meet all your super niche fucking needs.
Super niche podcast needs.
I'll also say I really appreciated Jeff Tremaine and Spike Jonze having like a slap fight.
In the movie?
Oh yeah, it's like if Spike Jonze beat the shit out of me, all right, cool, let's go. It's like whoa.
I love Spike Jonze though because he's an Oscar-nominated director who makes like super serious movies. And
didn't he do Her?
Yeah, he did Her and like Where the Wild Things Are and like other fucking super serious shit. What's the other one? I can't remember. But he does like serious shit, and yet he keeps coming back to Jackass, and he's doing these interviews where he's the one like throwing a chair on this set dangerously at Jeff Tremaine. Like, it's funny. Like, as much as he's like a super serious movie director now, it's like some people deep down you don't change. Like he was a skater dude, like skater crowd dude growing up. Maybe a super serious director now, but he knows who he is deep down. Like he knows the crowd he likes to hang around with. Like he knows who he wants to be. That's no different than like Tony Hawk. Like Tony Hawk continues to like show up on set for these Jackass movies. He's never been like a huge like prankster sort of dude, but he likes the people, you know. Like
he's hanging with his friends.
He likes to hang out with his friends, so it's good times. All right. Any last comments from you, Ryan, on this before we wrap up Jackass?
No. In the same way that this movie was a really great way to, sit and hang out with your friends, I feel this podcast is the exact same thing. So thank you guys for having me again. Pull me back out of retirement. Not that I've never fucking retired, but like, and just like Jackass, just pull me back in. No, it's 4.5 was awesome. And even talking about it right now, I may go watch it again, but this time on my TV.
Yeah, well, you find into it justice. The dicks look so small when you watch it.
But that made it very relatable.
Can't tell,
that was important.
Can't tell the size difference. Yeah.
I'm like, this movie gets me.
Oh, maybe. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to upset you though. If you have to watch it on TV, so didn't know. All right, that'll do it for this special What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast discussion of Jackass 4.5. Of course, if you like and you haven't listened to our other discussions, we have Jackass Forever, Jackass 3, 2, 1, all those already back on the podcast feed. You can find all those on explosionnever.com. If you like me and Ryan talking, you can find me and Ryan and other people talking about things. Buddy Watson, also on the Radio Movies podcast. Go check out that. We talk about dicks and stuff and that as well. Whenever I'm around Ryan, talking about dicks. His fault, not mine.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you can. Check out explosionnever.com for all the other great content. And check out the regularly scheduled episodes of What Do You Want to Watch? That's the podcast feed that you're listening to now that this is on. If it's the first time you're listening to this because Ryan brought you over because you're like, I want to listen to Ryan talk about Jackass. Thanks, Ryan. Subscribe to the podcast now. Thank you.
Well, where's Ryan from?
Oh, fuck. Plug your thing.
Hi. I'm from the Popculturists. We're mostly known for one thing, and that is our weekly PlayStation podcast called For the Players, the Pop Culture PlayStation podcast. I couldn't just call it For the Players because that's very much someone else's trademark. But yeah, so we're about to 250 episodes of talking PlayStation. And that's pretty much it. If you want to follow me, head over to Twitter at HaggardMC, HEGGARDMC. Yeah, you can hear me talk about dicks over there too.
I was about to say that, but I was like, I'll just let you do your thing, but that's fine.
Yeah, on my Twitter, you get wrestling, PlayStation, my kid, and dick and fart jokes.
Loves it.
Not
This is what happens when I didn't do it like any notes in my head, so I just like, or any notes, so I just like, I'm like, making this up as I go. Forgot what the fuck I was even saying. Until next time, keep hurting yourself or stuff.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. No! Come on. There we go. Get it off! You got it done. Get it off! Get it off! Please get it off! Oh my God! Please! Please! I'm trying! Please! Oh my God! Oh my God! Fuck you, Jeff! Oh!